Good morning, students. In this composition class, we're going to talk about descriptive writing. The first half of the second term will be all about descriptive writing. I am going to give you some tools to enrich your vocabulary and to create attracting stories. The first thing that we're going to talk about is writing to show, not tell. Writing to show, not tell is a writing technique in which story and characters are related to sensory detail and action rather than exposition. It fosters a style of writing that is more immersive for the reader, allowing them to be in the room with the characters. Showing illustrates while telling merely states. Why don't we take a look at some examples? First, Michael was terribly afraid of the dark. Second, as his mother switched off the lights and left the room, Michael tensed. He huddled under the covers, gripped the sheets, and held his breath as the wind passed the curtains. In the first example, we have a telling example. Everything is just said. Michael was terribly afraid of the dark. In the second example, we have a showing example where we've put Michael in a situation where his experience of that fear takes center place. The reader can use the same information they get from the telling example, but in a much more compelling way. To show, we must use effective details to convey something more than just information. We must try to draw a picture for the reader. Such details should include all the senses: smell, sight, touch, taste, and hearing. When you go to the beach, the sand is not simply hot. The sand is so hot it feels as if you were walking over broken glass. There was this author called Anton Chekhov, and he used to say, "Don't tell me the moon is shining. Show me the glint of the light on broken glass." By this, he was asking you to create an image of what you were seeing instead of just saying it. Why is it so important to show and not tell? It helps to develop the characters. When using defective details, you can build strong, lifelike characters that people can identify with. Number 2, draws the reader into the narrative with truly immersing description. When you create a picture for the reader, they can immerse themselves into the setting of the story, and they will be more interested in the story as well. Number 3, it contributes to story development, but it leaves certain things to the reader's interpretation, which is more interesting. If you give everything to the reader, they're gonna be bored and they will stop reading. So by giving these effective details and this immersive description, you invite them to create their own world through your words. The bottom line is telling might be quicker, and it is still necessary in some parts of the story. But showing makes writing more attractive, more interesting, and more successful. Here are 4 practical tips when you are going to write. The first is that you have to create a sense of setting. Setting refers to the places where your story develops. By describing the character's interaction with the environment, how they perceive their surroundings, it's a way to create a setting. More than just saying that there is a chair and a table, you can say that the character pulled up the chair to sit down at the table. It is an action instead of just stating a thing. Number 2, occasionally add dialogue. I say occasionally, because if you create a story with only dialogue, then you're just writing a theater play, and that's not what you want. So occasionally adding dialogue gives your character a personality, and it tells the reader some things that you wouldn't get for just the paragraph. For example, if you got to read Harry Potter in English, you would have noticed that Hagrid had a very rustic manner of speaking. And if you have watched the TV series Doctor Who, you know that there are different doctors, and each doctor has a particular phrase that matches his personality. All of this creates strong characters that help the reader identify with them. Number 3, if you have doubts, describe an action. So having to describe the setting each time your character enters a new place is boring and messes totally with the rhythm of your narrative. So try this instead. Example. If you were saying that Samantha was late and describing the school and the hallways, it would be too long and too tedious. So you can say that as the school bell rang the 5 minutes warning, Samantha hurried down the school ramp, startling a flock of huacharacas in the process. You can create a picture of this girl running past a place that has a lot of birds in it. Number 4, use strong details, but don't overdo it. Using too many details and excessively ornate language can result the same as just telling. Just telling is too basic, and using too much of a description is too dense. So it becomes super heavy to read a super dense prose.